And on this Friday night, welcome everyone. We begin with a rapidly changing situation that is evolving very quickly. And that is what the CDC is saying about the coronavirus. At 11 Alive, we are Where Atlanta Speaks. And we want to make sure that your answers are coming to you, that you have these questions, and we want to do our best to try to keep you informed. 11 Alive's Elvin Lopez joins us now with what you need to know heading into the weekend.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. So let's start with the fast facts on the coronavirus. Within the last few hours, Chinese authorities say 15 people died in a single day, raising the death toll to 41, most from the city of Wuhan, where the virus originated. Here in the U.S., there are 2 confirmed cases, one in Washington state and a second case in Illinois, which was just confirmed to us today. And 3, we are now hearing about the first confirmed cases outside of Asia and the United States. That takes us to France, where 3 people are suffering from the deadly virus. The virus is spread from person to person like the flu, and the symptoms are similar to a cold: runny nose, dry coughing, sore throat, fever, diarrhea, body aches. Severe symptoms include a high fever, kidney failure, pneumonia, and even death. Georgia's Department of Public Health is advising healthcare providers to stay alert for patients who have traveled from Wuhan, China, and have fever, as well as respiratory symptoms. The agency even providing a hotline for medical providers statewide to call if they suspect someone might have the infection. Colleen Kraft, Associate Chief Medical Officer at Emory University, who was also on the medical team who treated the first Ebola patient in the United States, says the only way to treat coronavirus is through respiratory supportive care.
There is not a vaccine, but I will tell you that researchers at the Hope Clinic here at Emory are going to be studying this virus and trying to create a vaccine against this virus.
And along with the 2 confirmed cases in the United States, the CDC is investigating another 61 potential cases from 22 states. Georgia is not on the list. 11 of those tests came back negative. As for airlines, Delta and United have started offering travel waivers for those impacted by the travel warning. Jeff?
Ellen, thank you.